Hey there guys, this is Callum here, and today I'm going to be making a video that is very close to my heart. It's a subject that I've been meaning to make a video on for a very long time, but I just couldn't find the words for it. And then along came today, April 2nd, which is World Autism Awareness Day, which just ties in brilliantly and means that I have an opportunity now to release a video about autism, and specifically about my brother. Now, my brother is autistic, and some of you watching may have met him and would know about him. Others of you might never have seen him before. Others of you may have met him but don't know necessarily about autism. And I want to change that. I want to make sure that as many people in the world are as aware about autism as possible, because it's a very common thing, and it's something that very sadly goes unnoticed in lots of places. It's a hidden disability, and I just want to tell you not about autism in this video. This video is not about what autism is or how it affects people. This is about my brother, and this is actually about the things that I love about my brother. So the first thing that I love about my brother is that he is one of the most individual people you will ever meet. Honestly, most people, after you meet them, there are things that stick with you about them, and with my brother there are so many things that would stick with you. Until about 2 years ago, from the day he was born, he had this teddy bear called Boko that he taped from everywhere, that he named after a character from Thomas the Tank Engine, I think. This is Boko. Hello. And he would carry him around with him everywhere, and he would talk to him and have conversations with him. Part of autism is that they occasionally have trouble differentiating between people and objects, so they could have conversations with objects that are inanimate, especially ones that are made to look like real life things, teddy bears and such. They often kind of get attached to things like that, and in Connor's case it was Boko, and he would take him with him everywhere, and that would make it very easy for people to see that he was autistic, not necessarily autistic, but that there was something wrong with him. And people would often come up to us and they would ask, oh, how's Winnie the Pooh? How's Winnie the Pooh? Because they'd think, oh, this person obviously has some kind of deficiency or whatever. I can't think of any word to put because I don't see it as deficiency. So I'm just going to say something wrong, but I'm putting it in the inverted commas hand gestures because that's just, it's wrong to say it's wrong. But they would often come up to him and say, so how is Winnie the Pooh? And then they'd maybe shake his hand or like do that, and then he'd say, it's not Winnie the Pooh, it's Boko. And he'd get really mad with them, and then he'd walk off and he'd have a conversation with him, and he'd start saying to Boko, no, don't listen to Boko, don't listen, it's fine. And that was just one of the very I love watching that happen, because it was just so real to him that this thing, this inanimate object, was his friend, and that he would need to console him if things were going badly. And that leads me very much onto the second thing that I love about Connor, which is also related to Boko, which is that I mentioned that up until 2 years ago he carried Boko with him everywhere, and then he decided at one point he was going to kind of grow up, and he decided that he needed to be separated from Boko, at which point he came and he gave Boko to me, and he said, now here you go, bro, you're going to look after Boko now because I can't take him with me everywhere, so you have to make sure that he's okay. And now Boko has a place in my room. And the thing that I'm trying to get onto is that the second thing I love about my brother is that he is incredibly caring, which is something which is not necessarily normal for people with autism. People with autism seem to have this kind of stigma of being emotionally distant, Connor is anything but emotionally distant. He has trouble coping with his emotions sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't understand what his emotions mean, so he gets angry or confused very easily, and he doesn't know how to react to situations. But he feels emotions just as strongly, and I think in some cases more so than we do as normal people. And that means that he gets incredibly passionate about things, such as the little obsessions that he gets. At the moment it's Doctor Who and Indiana Jones and all that kind of stuff. But that's just part of who he is, that he has these little kind of obsessions that I'm so glad it's off Thomas the Tank Engine now, because that was really, really annoying. And the doctors never expected Connor to be emotional as a person, because usually, as I mentioned, autistics seem to be thought to be kind of emotionally distant, and when he was born he was very distant, and they said that he would never learn to talk properly, he would never learn to walk unaided, he would never be potty trained, he would basically never function as a person. That's what my parents were told when they got him diagnosed as being autistic. And since then, I was born, and everything changed. Because my brother, he kind of didn't know what to do with me. He didn't know what to think of me when I was born. He was about 2, and he had just about learned to say some words. He was already kind of proving the doctors wrong slightly. He knew how to say words. He wasn't very good at communicating. But when I came along, he kind of tottered over to me a bit and kind of had a look at me. He wasn't quite sure what to make of me. And then I started crying. And the story my parents always told me was that the first thing he did was he looked at them and he went, "Baby crying, baby crying, baby crying, baby crying," until they came and they helped me. And occasionally it would be that he would just pick me up and put me on his lap. That was quite a big thing to do, considering autistics do not like to be touched. He deliberately came and picked me up and put me on his lap and started to kind of like hug me and try and make sure that I was okay. And when they told the doctors about that, and the doctors were amazed. They said that this was very unusual behaviour for an autistic person, especially one who was so early in their stages of development. And since then, Connor has just kept proving them wrong. He has become more independent, more amazing as a person, and the bond that he has with me has been so strong throughout. And that brings me on to the last thing I wanted to say in this video, which is that my brother is one of the most amazing people I know, and I love him so dearly. And one of the most amazing things is that he loves me back. And for an autistic person to be able to understand something as confusing and as mind-blowing a mixture of emotions as love, and to be able to express it openly, it's just amazing that I have someone who loves me so deeply for who I am, and I love him back in just the same way. And people often ask me, if there was a cure for autism, would you give it to Connor? And the answer is no. I would never change who he is, because autism is part of who he is. It is integral to his personality, his individuality, and everything about him. I love my brother, and I would never change him. This has been Callum, and I stand up for autism. I love you, bro.